Hey, what's going on, everybody? We're back with another BKFC Reddit Ask Me Anything. We're joined by Captain Deadpool himself, Jared Warren. How you doing, sir?
Doing good, man. Good to see you.
Okay, so I just want to set the pace right away. So Crystal wants me to ask, why does he copy everything I do and copy all my jokes?
Well, like with most things, she's projecting. All right, that's what she does. As soon as I make a joke, she steals it as her own and passes it off to try and be funny. And I'm like, babe, you just got to get some of your own material. You know what I mean? You can't be me all the time. I'm sorry.
So I'm the funny one in my relationship, and I always tell my wife, I'm like, look, you have like one good joke, and you don't waste it on me. Tell it to other people. But like, she'll be super funny one time, and then she tries hard, and I'm like, oh, you got to just let it flow naturally. Is Crystal's the same way, or?
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm definitely funnier than her. But like, I'll say something funny when it's just me and her, and then when we're with like the shift group or something, then she'll bring it up like it was her joke,
Ah,
copying her. So it's a very dirty move, but pulls it off well.
she's dirty like that. All right, so can you? So you're a fighter. You're a full time fighter. You're a full time fighter. Can you tell us like what a week looks like for you? Like I'm curious how how you have any free time for anything.
So we do 24-hour shifts at my department. So it's 24 hours on, 48 off. So basically every third day I'm gone from the house for a full day. Um, but yeah, man, I mean we get there and most days we're busy. I'll try and find time for like a quick workout in between calls and stuff at the station. Um, but then like, when I get off work the following morning, I usually have to come home and like pass out for a couple hours, just to
Sure.
recharge, especially if we had a very busy night. And then, just get up and start my day. So, I'll still get my two workouts in on my days off. But yeah, you just gotta, I don't know, find the energy somewhere. It's just, it can be a little draining, but especially that first day off. The second day off, you're usually good to go and, back to full speed, but then the cycle starts all over. One thing I do on purpose though, like right now, usually about 2 weeks leading up to a fight, we're allowed to do what we call EOTs, exchange of times at work. So basically I pay people to work my shifts so I can like get some good rest the last, couple of weeks, kind
Sure.
of on everything and get recharged and be at 100%.
So it's kind of interesting. I've been talking to some fighters that are like, "Oh, I'm starting to get that brain fog because I'm cutting weight," and you never have that problem.
No, that's on purpose. I mean, like a long time ago when I was like brand new pro, I was like a smaller guy, cut into an even smaller weight class. But I hated it. I was always angry and hungry and everything when I was at work, and it's the two don't mesh well when you're dieting and trying to be a professional and work these long shifts and stuff. So yeah, no, I do all my weight cut the morning of weigh-ins. I get in there and sweat out some pounds and then just refuel afterwards and call it good. So that's kind of known. I'm on the smaller side for the 185ers, but I'm okay with it. I mean, I get to eat as much often as I want. Always feeling, as energetic I can be with the given situation, and makes things more enjoyable because when you're always
Sure.
hungry, nothing is enjoyable. So I kind of rather be a little bit smaller and enjoy my training and everything as opposed to always being in a bad mood.
Okay, so Jomi feels he was robbed in his first fight against you, and that you got a hometown decision. He cites that he had done more damage to you. Is there? I mean, how do you feel about that? How do you like? What are your take on that?
I don't think he actually believes that. If anybody does believe that, it's him and maybe his mom. You know what I mean? Like, it, it wasn't like it was like, oh, like 3 rounds to 2, and one of those rounds was really close. Like, no, dude, I beat you every single round. Like you did, you gave me a cut under my eye, which hey, that takes one punch in this sport. Um, so yeah, I had one cut, you didn't, but I still landed at least a 4-to-1 ratio on how many punches, and you know, I beat him all around the ring. And it had nothing to do with decision, but since he does want to, say that to make himself feel better, I'm glad this fight is in Miami. Yeah, I mean, so he can't have any excuses. In Miami, as far as that whole hometown decision goes, they're the worst. Like
Yeah.
it's a well known thing. Like you go there, you better knock that motherfucker out because if you don't, he's getting the decision. That's just the way it goes. So I'm prepared for that, and I'm ready to go into enemy territory once again and do my thing.
Okay, so is there any difference between this camp and your previous camps? Like, have you changed up anything at all, or it's business as usual for you and the shift team?
No, yeah, business as usual. We the coaches always go through the fight tape and pick apart things. Um, the only thing that I would say that I've changed in my own little regiment, and it's just more on a health side, is just I got into the whole ice pod craze. You know what I mean?
Okay, yeah.
I'd never been one to screw around with that, but I had a number of friends kind of um, promoted it to me, and I was like, fuck it, I'll try it. And now I got one like set up at the house, and it's pretty awesome. It does feel like it has a lot of benefits to it. So I always go real hard on myself with the conditioning and stuff. So it's kind of nice to just have like another avenue to recover quicker.
Do you feel like it helps like get the lactic acid out quicker, or like what benefit do you feel it has?
Yeah, man, it's got a bunch, dude. It's like one thing that's 100% is every night that I use it, I sleep better.
Okay,
Almost, a consolidated version of if you went for like a swim in the pool for a couple hours, you always seem like, I feel so relaxed and you feel good. It does that after spending, 5 minutes in there. But yeah, it does take away inflammation and, there's a whole bunch of like little scientific benefits behind it that, the layperson isn't going to know about unless you just go and read up on it. But yeah, man, it's been pretty cool.
okay. Let's talk ring rust. You've been on the show for 7 months, so it's definitely longer than you had planned. Is there any of that, or like you guys seem like you always have somebody in the camp, so you guys are always sparring pretty hard. Like it's not going to be a factor.
We're always in there regardless because you never know. Like, uh, 2022, I fought 4 times that year, and
Right.
then now it's kind of like maybe 2 times a year. So you don't know when something's gonna pop up. So we stay ready. I like training, so even if I'm not in a fight camp, I'm still in there every week, multiple times a week. It's what I do. Like I kind of gave up the whole go out and party scene a while back. I kind of look at it as like I can go out and have fun regularly, or I can be the best at something, but I can't do both. You know what I mean?
Sure.
I gave up all that crap, and I do legit enjoy training and all the time. So we're always in there. Yeah, somebody is always in fight camp. So it's always good to kind of be in there to help your teammates if they need it in any way. But yeah, man, we stay sharp, we stay ready. I don't think there will be any ring rust. You know what I mean, just because it is expected. Like uh, I think most of us would like to fight like every 3 months or so if we could.
Sure.
And there were like after my last fight, there was a lot of like maybes popping up here and there where they'd be like, "Oh, we might have you fight this month on this card." But we're not sure, so just be ready, kind of thing. So regardless, we're just always in there. But yeah, the break it doesn't impede my ability or anything. Just makes me more like want to get in there, but that's about it.
Okay, so my graphics guy had a great point. He said Jared is an expert on all things UK. Ask him about the card yesterday, since you commentated. So, what did you think of the UK card yesterday?
It was good, man. I enjoyed
I
it.
thought so. Yeah.
There, you know, I'm kind of like stealing this from Chris Lytle a little bit, but he was saying like, man, when there's most people say they want to see knockouts and they don't want to see 5 round fights. He's like, but when they're 5 round fights like this, when they're like entertaining, going back and forth, he's like,
Yeah.
I'll take those all day long. And I agree 100%. A lot of times, 5 round fights can be boring when no guy is really pulling the trigger. I mean, they're both kind of just playing tit for tat and nobody's committing to trying to hurt the other one. But there was a few fights like that yesterday where they both guys were getting after it, both landing some good shots, and neither of them got the finish, but it was a good, entertaining scrap. So I was it was enjoyable for sure. Danny Christie did real well again. I think they said that was his first fight to go 5 rounds. But he looked good at middleweight. I think that was his first time dropping down, and he did real well. I expected him to. And Paul Venus, even though or Venice, yeah, Venice,
Venice, yeah.
he I met him when I was over there too, and
Okay.
he seemed like a very legit dude. Seemed like he I didn't know who he was initially, but he told me about his background and stuff, and he didn't come off to me as the kind of guy who was full of shit. I'm like, he seems like he knows what he's talking about, that he's been fighting and stuff. So I expected him to do real well, and obviously he did. But yeah, just killer fight card all the way around, man. They always put on a good show over there.
Is commentating something you see yourself getting into after? I mean, you did well with it. A lot of people liked it. Is that something like after your BKFC career's over, like you'd like to get into doing that, or?
I would love to try it, man. If they gave me the opportunity, whether it is just to fill in here and there, kind of like that was for the previous UK card, or anything similar. If they're just like, hey, I'm happy. Like I don't ever expect to be like great at something that I've never trained on, but I'm happy to try giving my best, and I do take in tutelage well. Like when I did get to do that card, Sean Wheelock was training me. We little crash course. We only had about 45 minutes to speak before it started.
Yeah.
Guys like him are so good at it and so easy to work with that it kind of made it stress free for me. So I enjoyed getting to do that. And yeah, if there was opportunities to do something like that post fight career, I'd love to.
Where did you get the nickname Captain Deadpool?
It kind of just became a thing, man. Like, so when I had taken a break from fighting years ago, is when I started putting on muscle, because I wasn't burning everything off in the fight gym. I was just like, I thought I was done with fighting at the time, and I was just like lifting weights. Finally put on some muscle, and some of my buddies were like, "Man, you kind of got the Captain America look now that you put on some healthy weight." And but I'm not serious like him. Like I'm always joking. Like I don't like being serious unless I have to, or unless I'm in a really shitty mood.
Sure.
But most of the time you catch me just joking around and fucking off and stuff. So that's kind of more the personality of the Deadpool side. And I'm a big fan of the movies, and kind of thought it would sound cool, so we went with it. So
I like that it's like a kind of like a split personality thing. That's pretty cool. Like it's kind of like Two-Face, from Batman. Yeah, so that's perfect.
I already have my tickets for the upcoming Deadpool and Wolverine movie that's coming out. Yeah, it comes out on July 26th. I bought tickets for the 25th.
Okay.
Do that little, pre-performance before everybody starts putting everything online and running it for me.
Sure.
Yeah, we already have tickets.
So are you a Ryan Reynolds fan or more of a Deadpool fan?
Both, man. I mean, like
he's fantastic
himself, but he does, he makes that character. Yeah, I mean, like it's he's made it so iconic. Like it's hard to picture anybody else doing it. You know what I mean? And the way like you see little things pop up in the media, like how him and he's like playing pranks on his wife all the time and stuff. Like,
yeah,
seems like that's like his real personality. Yeah, I mean, like he is kind of Deadpool himself. So yeah, I'm definitely a fan of both of them.
Okay, so I have another question for you, and I don't know if I'm supposed to like get in character for this one or not, but I'm going to. So just picture me laughing my head off this entire interview. How does he feel being so blessed that I came into his life? How does he even exist without me before me? Like how did he even exist without me?
She really thinks highly of herself, doesn't she? Wow.
She loves her some. I love me some me. That's that should be her motto. I love me some me.
Yeah. Freaking hat that says that. But yeah, I don't know how I got so lucky. I'm the lucky one.
You gotta laugh the whole time you're doing the interview, like just
yeah, just freaking giggle away like she does instead of answering questions. Okay.
What was it like going out there for her fight in California? Like, I mean, it seemed like it was a super event. Like, interesting. Do you have any fun stories from being out there in California? Like, you got to see like her son and stuff. That was pretty great.
Yeah, that was cool. That was the main thing that I was so like excited for her.
Sure.
Is the fact that all her family could finally come and watch her fight live. Like she had that last one she was supposed to have in Orlando, got canceled literally like the day of or whatever. She had her sister flying out at the time, which unfortunately she flew out there and didn't get to watch her fight. But yeah, the majority of her family lives over there in Cali, so they all made the trip to LA, and that was awesome. And then on top of the Peacock Theater and stuff, that place was just amazing. Yeah, I mean it was massive. It's kind of like I think what most of us picture being in the venue like. All right, I made it. I mean, I'm not small time anymore. This is big time. It was a big time.
Right.
It was awesome. So yeah, I loved it. I'm glad she got to be on Knucklemania and get all that exposure and stuff. But yeah, as far as like a freaking funny story while we out there was, girls always got to get their hair braided and stuff. Fight braids, girls and Jomi. So we woke up the morning of fight, and I'm like, hey, did you ever like set somebody up out here to, do your fight braids and stuff? And she's like, oh shit. So she like jumps online, finds somebody real quick, and agrees. And they're like, okay, she's gonna be here at it was like 2 p.m. I guess it's supposed to take an hour, and then we're supposed to be at the venue at 4 p.m. So like right. We had a little bit of leeway there, but not much. And so when it got close to 2, the lady that was supposed to be there is like messaging her, and she's like, hey, I had to stop and get the special products for your hair. She's like, it's gonna, be, another $40 or whatever. But she's like, you just send that. She's like, I'm running a little bit late because of LA traffic, but she's like, I'll be there. And then so she pays that, and then it's getting close to 3. I'm like, babe, did you ever like physically talk to this person, or have you only been messaging? She's like, well, just messaging. I go, did you pay her ahead of time? She's like, yeah. I go, I think you got scammed.
Right.
I think you got screwed. So she immediately tried to call her, and it was like, this person is no longer available. And I'm like, fuck. So she got ripped off, like 200 some odd dollars. And then it was so like, we had like no time to find anybody new.
Right.
So I, like ran down to the lobby of the hotel we were staying at, and like any woman I saw, I'm like, do you know how to braid hair? Do you know how to braid hair? And yeah, we find this lady. I'm sorry I don't know her name, but she was an associate that was kind of working with the whole Rashaw group that was there.
Oh sure, yeah.
She jumped in and like did it on the spot, and she did an awesome job, and like quick. Yeah, I mean, I was impressed, and I'm like, thank you so much. And she hooked her up big time. And I think we did end up being like a little bit late to the venue, which sucks because like California Commission, they're like,
yeah,
I mean, they're really strict. So she probably got fined, but otherwise, yeah, that was our little snafu of the trip.
I'm disappointed none of the 3-headed monsters know how to braid hair. Like, come on, Jihad or Rick or Anwar. Like, how do none of you know how to braid hair? Let's go.
Yeah, you would think so, little fuckers. But yeah, we had to find a random for it.
All right, man. Well, I appreciate your time so much. You're always big on the Reddit. Everybody always wants to make sure I ask you questions. Is there anybody you want to give a shout out to or any messages before we call it a day?
Let's see, man.
Put you on the spot.
Yeah, no, I mean, one of my buddies that's a sponsor, like if you look on my thing, he calls it Silly Ventures. He works with like some nutraceutical company, and he always like gives me like these supplements that I feel like I never get sick as a result.
Okay.
And always there on the spot for me. Like his name's Brian, and awesome dude. He's been hooking me up as a sponsor for a while. So yeah, I definitely want to give him a shout out. But guys like him, and then there's 2 other sponsors, man, and they're called Jedi CU and Foil Surfboards. The 3 they've just all been with me like since the beginning. You know what I mean? Like a lot of sponsors come and go. You know what I mean? They want to do it for one fight or whatever. But these are guys that have like been there since the beginning, and it's always helpful to have some people that are willing to sponsor you long term and help you out where they can. So
cool. All right, sir. Well, best of luck. Like I was telling Jomi, like I like both of you guys. So this is one of those fights. Like like I feel like this fight is going to be a dog fight. I feel like the Duran versus Kai, like whichever one imposes their will. That's when in the Keith versus Alberto, kind of same thing. But you and Jomi, this has the potential to just be an absolute firefight. And like I said, both of you guys are such great dudes that like I can't wait to watch the carnage.
I appreciate it, man. I like Jomi too. You know what I mean? Like it's
sure.
It's not a personal. It's not a no vendetta. Like before our first fight, I didn't like him very much.
Okay.
I think his coach at the time was like in his ear too much and kind of like making him be a dick. But since then, the little bit that I've run into him and talked to him, he's been cool. So
yeah,
I'm still gonna rip his head off. Still going to do as much damage as possible in a small amount of time.
Sure.
But on a personal level, I think he's a good dude.
All right, man. Thanks so much for your time. I appreciate it.
All right, man. My pleasure. Talk to you soon.